Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Funky Brain Podcast. My name is Dennis, and this is my funky brain up here, but I'm doing much better now. Our guest today is a successful international businessman and consultant. He's the founder of Dexterity Solutions and is known as the listener, which is what attracted me to him, because I frequently talk about this listening, true listening, not just hearing, is an art and a coveted skill that few possess at a high level, at least in my opinion. So I'm excited to talk with him about this. And he's joining us from Twyford, England today. And I'm sure he's going to tell me I said that wrong. But Mr. Colin D. Smith, how are you doing today, sir?
Very well, thank you, Dennis. And you pronounce it correctly. So
I did? Awesome. Yeah. Can you share with us a little bit about your story, like how you got to where you are now and what got you into this space?
I think if I look back on my career, half of it was spent in IT. And then the second half was in consultancy, where we were working with people and process. I think that even though I didn't realize it, the gift of listening was something I have had for a long time. So I was able to sit with clients or prospects and listen to them for 15, 20, 30 minutes and not get stressed by it and be happy to just keep asking those questions. And it's interesting how the more you listen, the more they share with you. And I'm sure you found that in your addiction. You don't need to say much. Use the right language, make it calm space, and then they settle and they relax and start to open up. That was where it started. As you would see if you went onto the website, a route through from there to what I called working with positive deviants. These are people in organizations who would think very differently and are actually transformational. Then I came up with the idea of disruptive dialogue. So 2 or 3 hours where we sit together with no agenda and no perceived outcome, and I want paying for it as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting sell. And then came up with the idea over lunch with someone, the idea of the listening coach was the idea. And listening coach has a fix it part of it. So I thought, maybe the listener. And that's how it started. And people like the idea because they're curious about what it might be.
I did sales for a while too. And one of the things we were taught is to listen. Because what do people like to talk about more than anything else in the whole world? Themselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so it was so funny. Invariably, what I would find, and we study personality styles, so it's like adapt to who you're talking to. And then the other part is to listen. What'll happen is it's really awesome stuff. And I know you know this, and I'm going to let you tell about this a little bit more. When you have a talk with somebody, especially if you're trying to sell them something, if you go in and be like, buy my stuff, they're not interested. But if they get to talk about themselves for a while, they open up to you, like you just said. And it's so funny, like just let them do all the talking. And here's some tricks we used to do. We used to even just sit there in silence, even when there was an awkward pause. Don't say anything, because ultimately, like, they're going to be uncomfortable and they're going to start talking again. And at the end of the conversations, you know what they always say? It was so nice talking with you.
Yeah. You've said very little.
Very little. Yeah. You let them do all the talking, let them be right, let them share their opinions and their views on everything, whatever it is, political, religion, all that stuff. And just like, yeah, you're right. Sit there through the awkward pauses, let them be right, let them talk. And at the end, they go, it's so nice talking with you.
Yeah. Be curious. I would add, be curious. Ask questions. So when they say something like, oh gosh, I've been talking for 10 or 15 minutes. Tell me a bit about yourself, or what are you up to? Yeah, I'll happily tell you that. But I'm curious about something you said earlier. How do you do that? Right? And the way they go again.
Yeah.
And I reckon in a lot of cases like that, and you'll know it, they'll go home and they'll say, oh, I've had such a great evening. And the partner would say, so what happened? So I met this really interesting guy, right? And we had such a good conversation. So what does he do? I've no idea. Yeah, but really interesting because he was interested in me.
Yes, that's right? What people want.
And I think the point you were asking or getting into was moving from that position, which is we just met. So we're having this little conversation. And if I suddenly say, actually, I've got this product of mine. do you want to buy it? You're going to go, hang on a minute, whoa, where did that come from? And it kind of, so you say, the reason you were asking all these questions and you appeared to be listening was you were just waiting for the moment to introduce the product. Okay, no thanks. If you take your time, be interested and curious, genuinely curious, that if I can get, all I want to really do is get to know this person, be interested. So when you share some of your stuff and I'm interested and I ask questions and gosh, that sounds really difficult or challenging or whatever, in the right way, then it comes to a point where it becomes a safe place. And you're more likely to say to me, so that's really interesting, Colin, you do all these things. So what are your services? And you go, well, actually, I do this and this and this. And you go, no, I tell you what's really interesting about that, Colin. It's not for me, but oh my goodness, there's someone I know you should talk to, right? Then when you introduce me, I've had a great conversation with Colin. I know you'll like him, like June. Yeah, he's been saying these things because it's true for him. So the last thing I would do is try and sell you this product until you're ready and interested in what I might offer, and vice versa.
Yeah. When I did actually look over your website, and you were talking about the three main areas you focus on as the listener, which is survive, dive, and thrive. So can you explain a little bit more about that?
You're right. I mean, the first one, as you say, is survive, which is about I need to be heard. And for me, that ties nicely in with the work that you do from addiction. A lot of people need to be heard. Part of the need to be heard is to fill this hole that I have inside. And without diminishing the work you do, addiction is trying to fill that hole. And I think that being heard is an antidote. I'm not saying it's the antidote, but it is an antidote to the addiction. So that's the first bit. So it is just being there for that person. The second really builds on the work that I've done with Nancy Kline's Time to Think. It is all about helping people think through the quality of my attention. During the conversation, he would have settled into the conversation with you. He would have relaxed and thought, this is safe, right? He's making it really easy for me to talk. He's interested, curious, empathic. He appreciates the challenges I'm having, all of those things. But sometimes we need that person there to help us think. So I don't need fixing. I don't need a solution. I just need to be heard. Because when I hear myself talk, I've come up with the answers. Thank you. And that's when they go, thanks ever so much. Really enjoyed talking to you. You've been amazing. And you think, all I've done is, all I've done is listen. And the third area, I think, is thrive, because it's about helping people to learn to listen better. Because for me, A, listening matters. B, I think listening is transformational. And C, for a lot of people, they see it as a superpower. In much the same way as superpowers that we know and love, there could be a dark side and a positive side, of course. If you've got this superpower of listening, then you could use it to manipulate. However, I think the intention behind the way we listen, people will either know that you're false because they know, or they'll have a sense there's something not quite right about Colin. I don't know what it is, but if you were to ask me, I probably don't trust him. But if you get the trust right, then you're in a better position to be able to influence and to follow or to be the leader. Your people are with you because they want to be.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it's about building relationships and building that trust that comes from when you build a relationship. Like when you walk in to sell your stuff or whatever it is, it's like, if you're just talking to somebody who you're interested in, like a romantic relationship or whatever, it's just like you're building a relationship first, and before it goes deeper, but it has to start with trust. And they need to know that you're safe, like you were talking about, and they know that by when they want to talk about what they want to talk about, and let them. And when it's easiest to do that, when your ego isn't in the way.
Yeah. Just get out.
Yeah, get out of the way, because we want to be heard too. I mean, we all want to be heard, but there's a time and a place. So we have our people that listen to us, and the best thing we can do is we want to be there to be someone that can listen to whoever. So it's like my whole career, my whole coaching practice centers on me listening to other people. Yeah.
Because if you didn't do that listening, there's no way the addiction people would open up.
Yeah. And I also, here's the other thing I do is I don't tell them what to do and I don't give them advice. I ask questions. So when something comes up and they're talking and they
Nice.
present me something, they say the relationship's messed up, or I can't stop drinking, I can't stop getting stoned, I can't stop playing video games or watching porn or shopping. We say, why do you think that is? And how do you think somebody who's been successful, how do you think that they stop? And I keep digging in and let them figure it out for themselves. And if we can't figure it out, Google it. So I teach people to become independent. So I don't want to have people dependent on me for the next 50 years to pay me, fees to keep them happy. I want to teach people how to do it themselves.
Beautiful. That has huge integrity in it as well. If all I can be if all I am is the catalyst to enable them to come to their solution, and their solutions are going to be better than yours, and they're going to be committed to theirs than yours, and all of those things, I think they could say something like, he never gave me what I wanted, he gave me everything I needed.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And, and when I went through my divorce, one of the people he was a friend of mine, he did exactly that. I would give him, 2 pages of narrative about how bad things were and what had happened. And he'd come back with one question. No, yes, you're right. She shouldn't have done this or that or whatever and all that stuff. Forget all that. What did you think would happen?
Interesting. So if somebody wanted to, become a better listener per se, what tips could you give them?
The first is your intention. So what am I going to do? And how am I going to show up? What do they need? Those sorts of things. In some respects, when you're a listener, show up as empty as you can be. So if I've got lots of stuff on my mind, almost certain that I'm not going to be able to listen to you very well. But if I can say, okay, let's just park that, and that's where things like practices like meditation can be really helpful. So just quieten it. It will never go away, but just quieten it. And so even during conversations, I may notice that I've been triggered. You've said something that my thought has gone somewhere else. So I notice it, return to my breath, I'm back present again. So that's one is intention. Another one is be curious. And we've touched on being curious, interested, ask good questions. And when you ask questions and are interested and listen, you're more likable and trustworthy. That's what happens. The third would be no fixing, no solutions, and just try it. With any of these, just try it out for a week. And one of the people I'm working with, he did that. That was his thing to take away, no solutions. And he wrote to me within the week and he said, I can't believe the 3 relationships have been transformed or are transforming as a result of that. And one of them even said, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And he said, it felt like I was doing nothing. So certainly I would add the no solutions bit. And the other would be, again, what we've touched on, which is about silence, no interrupting, and 3 seconds, the 3-second rule. That's a really popular one, the 3-second rule. So when somebody speaks and stops speaking, just wait another 3 seconds. It seems like a long time, but it isn't. And you've used it in a good way to encourage them to talk some more. And if they stop talking, but you notice that they're still there, right? They're not, their mind is still going. Just ask them, and what more? Ooh, and away they go. So those are the things. And at the end of it is appreciate them. So just offer a word of appreciation about who they are, not necessarily what they've been doing. So I've appreciated the sense of safety that has happened here in our relationship right from the beginning. We've never met. And yet, from the word go, there felt a safety that you created. And I appreciated that. So that's the sort of things I would offer.
Awesome. And those are beautiful tips. I love it so much. The silence, that's a big thing. So I do, before the world shut down, I used to do a lot of speaking, motivational keynote speaking. And silence is a powerful tool. It draws people in. If I go out there and just start talking about everything I know and talk, it kind of pushes people away. But if I stop for a few seconds, it draws people in. They're like waiting. And I've done it both ways, and it doesn't work the other way. It depends like what kind of time frame you have and stuff. But if you pause, people are just like, what's next? Like they're hearing, and it works across so many different channels. So awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Colin. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to go about doing that?
The website, which is www.dexteritysolutions.co.uk. Or if you wanted to email me, then it's Colin, COLIN, .Smith, SMITH, at dexteritysolutions.co.uk. And I'm on LinkedIn. And if you look on LinkedIn for the listener, I think you'll find me.
Yes. So yeah, I know that I found you on LinkedIn. I'm so happy that we got to connect.
Likewise.
And we're definitely going to do this again. And then we'll try to find some specific, specific listening skills to hone in on and give some practical steps to become better listeners, I think, next time.
Beautiful. Look forward to it.
Well, thank you, Colin. I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I hope you learned something new today. I did. I loved it. And have a beautiful day today. And we'll talk again soon. So I've been asked recently, why would I need a life coach? And how can a coach help me? Well, I spent the last 15 years helping people overcome their challenges and propel themselves forward in life. And I work with people worldwide via Zoom and currently have clients in New Zealand, England, Australia, and of course, scattered throughout the US here. So how come some people seem to be able to think of great ideas and just get them done at a high level, and some people just get stuck? Well, we need consistency in our lives to specifically define our goals and create specific action steps to get them done on a daily basis. And then execution is key. We could design all the beautiful plans we want, but without proper execution, most plans live a very short life. And then finally, and the most important piece of the puzzle to unlock all that success afterwards is accountability. All the most successful people in the world have coaches, mentors, and accountability partners. Oprah, Richard Branson, Elon Musk. Nobody reaches high levels of success on their own. In most cases, they have teams of people to run their ideas by. It takes more than just a good idea to reach your goals and dreams. It takes hard work, effort, commitment, and dedication. And of course, somebody to hold your feet to the fire to make sure these things get done at a high level. And that's what I do. I help people reach their goals at a high level. I am a high performance coach. And when I say that, I don't just mean money. I mean kicking your addictions and mastering your life, improving your relationships, reaching your financial goals, crushing your health and fitness goals. So reach out today for a free session to start radically changing every area of your life. Don't wait till tomorrow or when it seems like the perfect time. Now is the perfect time to start achieving all your goals and dreams and to radically change your life forever. I'll talk to you soon. Have a beautiful day.